Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here. Answer your questions today. Today's question is free stuff in the major leagues. What type of free stuff do you get? Do you get free stuff? We've already made a video actually on equipment and stuff like that, gear like jerseys and shirts and all that stuff. So if you haven't seen that video, just go back. I put it up not too long ago, and you can get all the information on all that stuff. But I want to talk about some of the other free stuff that you get. After I put that video up, people were like, well, what about like shin guards and Evo Shield and all this stuff? Like, is all that stuff free too? So I'm going to talk about that right now, okay? First off, Evo Shield. Evo Shield is free stuff, absolutely. Now, some people were like, Evo Shield wasn't even around when you were playing. It actually was. I actually vividly remember when it came out, and it came out, I was playing, because I remember one day I'm in the clubhouse and guys are like putting on so they're like opening these packages and they're putting like the Evo Shields on like their shins and all different pads and stuff, and it was forming to their body. And I remember being like, what the hell is that? Like, what, Evo Shield? Like, I've never heard of such a thing. And so, not that it was like unlimited and you can just grab like a million Evo Shields, but I remember when it came out that year, I remember our trainers had a ton of them. And so if you wanted them, if you wanted one for here or your wrist or your elbow guard or, whatever you wanted, you could grab them from them and use them. And before the Evo Shield, I remember, you guys probably don't even know what they are, like the old school, everyone thought it was, now it's like everyone just thinks everything is Evo Shield. But back in the day, they had like these kind of like these uglier ones. They were these hard, like not super comfortable, but back then they were fine. Same thing, elbow guards and shin guards and all that stuff. And I remember having those also. And same thing, the trainer just has a bunch of them, and you just grab them. So those were one thing that was free. Bats. So again, we talked about how the team will supply you with bats, and so when you get to, usually every year in spring training, when you get there, in Major League spring training, we would get 18 free bats. So you put in your order for 18 free bats, and then you get them, and then if you're in the major leagues, you can just order more bats, and they'll get them for you. But one thing in spring training, what happens is there's a lot of bat companies that are like coming around, they're trying to get you to use their bats. Like I use Louisville Slugger bats for most of my career. But like in spring training, I'd be like sitting, I'd get there in spring training, you'd be sitting at your locker in the clubhouse, and different bat companies would come around and like they'd be showcasing their bats. And one thing I'd always do, even though I really like Louisville Slugger and I was not interested in really using anyone else's bat, like I'd be like, like I remember like X-Bat came in one day. Is X-Bat still popular? I don't even know. But I remember Manny Ramirez used one. So I remember them coming in, and I like walk over and like, grab a bat and you look at it and be, yeah, this bat looks pretty good right here. And then like the rep for the company would be like, hey, yeah, you like that bat right there? I'd be like, yeah, this bat looks good. Yeah, it looks really, really nice. And he'd be like, you want to try any of them out? And I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, I'll try some out. And then they'd always be like, what model do you want, all this stuff. So I remember like X-Bat, I was like, not that I was super interested in really going away from the bat I was using, but I don't know, free bats, why not? Why wouldn't you take one? So I actually have my X-Bats still upstairs. I remember I was like, again, I knew Manny Ramirez was swinging one, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like the Manny Ramirez model, even though I had no idea what the Manny Ramirez model was. And he was like, oh yeah, you want me to make you a couple of those? I was like, absolutely, yeah. And so I got them, and I was like, I'm never going to swing this thing. The thing weighed like a ton, and it was top heavy, but I still got them upstairs, and so I grabbed them. I do that with a lot of bat companies. Usually, like I said, it's like the free samples. Like you go to a store and they got free samples sitting out. Like you got to try them, right? So that's what I felt like with bats. They got free samples. They might as well try them. So I would grab those from all the companies. They're just given to you for free. Usually they make you a bat or two. Take a week or so to get in, and there you go. So bats were free. What else? I jotted a few things down here. You guys, this would be interesting. Write in the comment section below. Do you guys... are they even still around, like the fighting necklaces and the wristbands? So like when I was playing, fighting was like really popular. And they were those things, you know, you put them on and it was supposed to do something with, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but like they make you do a test like, oh, bend over and touch your toes. You touch your toe, you'd be like, my hamstrings are tight. And then they say, oh, put this necklace on and now bend over and touch your toes. And you bend down and touch your toes and they'd be like, see, it really helps you. So I don't know if they did or not. I highly doubt it. But I remember every spring training you'd show up and there'd be, you know, the fighting guy would be there and he'd be just loading you with like necklaces and bracelets and whatever they had. They'd be in your locker. He'd be throwing them at you. They must have been like nothing to make. They probably cost the company like 3 cents to make. And they just load you up. They try to get everybody to wear them so that when you're playing on TV, you know, all the kids say, oh, I want a fighting necklace because Mike Trout's wearing one. So are those around still? Let me know if those are around still. I don't think I've seen one, but maybe they're still around. I'm not sure. And then you've got other stuff like spring training is like, and even in the season you get this a little bit, but spring training was really where like all the companies were always around. Like, you know, you'd have like, I don't know, different t-shirt companies and companies that made all kinds of stuff would be around. And they'd always just be, hey, you want to try our stuff? Hey? And they'd always try to just throw you free stuff all the time. Shirts and sweatshirts and hat companies and shoe companies and all these different things. Just because they want you to put the stuff on, hoping that you'll wear it during an interview or during, you know, back then social media wasn't really big. Nowadays, you know, you get somebody to get your shirt and get a picture on Instagram and all of a sudden, you know, 5 million people see it. But back then there weren't really social media stuff, but still, like just wearing around the ballpark, getting on television, doing an interview or something like that. So they're always tossing you free stuff on top of all your gear and equipment and all that stuff. The one other thing I'll say, and I got this other question a ton when I made the other video. People say, what about catcher's gear? So catcher's gear, again, I never played catcher, so I never had to get gear, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure that whatever company, again, I was a Nike, we talked about in that video, again, go back and watch it. I had a Nike deal, so I got all Nike equipment for free. All right, so if you're a catcher, whatever company you have, if it's Nike or All-Star or whoever, they're going to supply you with the gear, okay? And how many they send you? I don't know. I think usually it felt like I'd see catchers would have their normal gear, and then they always seem to have a backup gear, a pair of backup stuff. I'm sure if they needed another one, they could probably ask for it. As long as you're not obnoxious when asking for things, usually they'll send you more. But all that stuff, players, like no player in the major leagues is buying, you know, their catcher's gear. And no one's going to Dick's Sporting Goods and being like, you know, I need a pair of shin guards for the game tonight. Let me go to Dick's and get myself a pair of shin guards. That's not happening. Pretty much everything at the major league level you're getting for free, either through your deal or the team is supplying it. So catcher's gear is another thing where whoever you got to deal with, that's who's sending you the stuff. So hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Let me know if you have any more specific questions on gear. I'm trying to think of every piece of gear or equipment and all that stuff, and for some reason I keep forgetting things and people keep asking me, what about this, what about that? So if I forgot anything else that you're interested in, let me know and I will answer it. I always read our comments, and so I'll answer that question for you guys, okay? So that's all I got today. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Share the video with all your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. All that good stuff. Check out the description box below. We've got a deal going on with Plate Crate. If you click the link, type in Antonelli, you get 50% off your first Plate Crate. We've also got a link to our Patreon page. You can help support the channel. If you go to our website, you can buy these hats right here. I keep getting asked, how do we get your hats? They're on the website. That's all I have right now. I know people keep saying like, oh, I want t-shirts and sweatshirts and all that stuff. We don't have any of that stuff available just yet because most of it goes to our players. But eventually maybe we'll do that, just not right now. So if you want a hat, they're up there. All right? And that's all I got, guys. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.